Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So students, today I am back with another video that is related to topic. Now, before proceeding further, I have pasted few images for you on the screen. So I am pretty sure that you'll be able to recognize about which new topic are we going to study today. Any idea or any hints that you can find out from these images? Okay, one is Indus Valley system. What else? Okay, this is related to history, students. So what else? Yes, we can also see the structure, the architecture, the style of houses, the planning of houses in urban areas, in local areas as compared and respected to Indus Valley civilization. So students, before wasting our time, let's start our today's topic. Now, let's recapitulate what have we studied in our previous class. Yes, we have studied so many new things about Harappa and Harappan site. So this video is all about the topic. Now, we all know, students, that construction of railway in Punjab was done in 1856, and due to this construction we can actually archaeologists could find out that what and how was Harappan site discovered. And Harappan site is the oldest site. It is the first and the oldest site which was found by the archaeologist. Now it was also having a combination of western cities and combination of eastern cities. Now we have also discussed about the drainage system and the unique building structure of Harappan civilization, isn't it? How they were having one-storied buildings and some were having two-storied buildings. Yes. Now we have also discussed about Great Bath. The Great Bath that is still there. It is actually there in Greece and Roman areas, but that was used for rituals and for bathing purposes. And Agni Kund was there, for which they used to worship the Lord of Fire, and for that they had made some Agni Kund sort of thing. Fine. So these were the things which we have discussed in our previous video pertaining to Harappan civilization and site. So let's proceed further and check what are we going to learn today in today's new video that is having more insights about Harappan civilization. Now, what was so much special about the cities? Any idea? What was so much special, students? Like if you are living in a good city, suppose if you are living in Delhi, what's special about Delhi that you love Delhi a lot? What's special about Delhi that Delhi is so much famous? Or in Mumbai or in Assam? Yes? So there must be some speciality. So let's check why was Harappan civilization so much popular? What was the speciality of these cities dating back to historical times? Now, many of these cities were divided into two or more parts. Definitely Harappan and Indus Valley civilization, that is Mesopotamia. The part of the west was smaller, but it was higher. Now, higher means higher in elevation, higher in structure. Archaeologists describe this as the citadel. Now, mark this word, this is citadel. Generally, the part to the east was larger but lower. Maybe it was lower in level, nearer to the sea level. Okay. Now, this was called the lower town. So, higher but smaller, citadel, lower but bigger, lower town. Very often walls of baked brick were built around each part. The bricks were so well baked that they have lasted for thousands of years. The bricks were laid in an interlocking pattern that made the walls strong. So this brick baking is now, when we see that so many buildings are being structured and made for architectural and housing purposes, that breaking bricks were used. So in some cities, special buildings were also constructed on the citadel. Now citadel, whenever we think of citadel, that was smaller but high in structure. Now, for example, in Mohenjo-Daro, a very special tank which archaeologists call the Great Bath was built in this area in Mohenjo-Daro. Fine. It was lined with bricks and coated with plaster. पहले तो उस पे bricks लगी in this area. Great Bath is there. I'll also mention. पहले तो उसमें bricks लगी. Then it was also coated with plaster because it was near the Indus River. Now, there was lined like plaster and made watertight with layer of natural tar. Now tar is a product that we use on roads, the roads to make roads. So that tar was also used on the Great Bath. There were lead steps that were leading down to it from two sides, while there were rooms on all sides. Now there were two steps that was leading down to the sides, but there was room on all the sides of the Great Bath. Water was probably brought in a form of well and drained out after they were consumed. So this was the speciality of the city. What? Citadel. Now if a question comes in an exam, what was the speciality of Mohenjo-Daro? The first answer should be the citadel and second should be the Great Bath. Now fine. Now in these cities were found near Punjab and Sindh in Pakistan. You know, somewhere near Punjab and Sindh in Pakistan, and in Gujarat, Rajasthan, Haryana and the Punjab of India. Fine. Now, archaeologists have found a set of unique objects in these cities. Now, there were so many unique objects that were also found in these cities, such as red pottery painted with designs in black, red and black combination, you know, and then stone weights, seals, special beads, copper tools, parallel side, long stone blades. So all these were the speciality that was found in the Harappan site. Now see, we just now discussed what was found. So see, we can see over here how they are making something with the help of brick and clay, how they are purchasing food and using weights. Now this was the well, this was the pottery images, and see, this was the urban architecture, this was the entrance to go inside. So these were the baked bricks through which ball was there, and the natural tar were also applied to them and coated with them. That lasted for 1,000 years. So lasting for 1,000 years is a real big deal. Do we get to see such originality and genuinity? No. Now the city is special. What are the specialities of the city which we have already discussed? Now let's see what was the life of the city, how people used to stay over there. Now today if someone will ask you to tell us about Bombay or Delhi or Bangalore, we'll be saying very busy. We go to offices, we get stuck in traffic jams, then we have no time for family because we are so busy. So similarly, life in the city was also a very busy city. And construction, writing and record. Why it was busy? Because construction was going on, writing and record was going on for keeping craft and making trade and market. Now rulers. Now let's study something about rulers. Now rulers looked after the construction of the buildings. It is likely that the rulers sent people to distant lands, दूर दूर तक भेजते थे, to get metal and precious stones and other things that they always wanted. So these were the role of the rulers, to send their people. Now scribes. Now scribe is another thing. Now scribes looked after the construction of the buildings. It is likely that rulers sent people to distant lands to get metal and precious stones they wanted. A Harappan seal. Now a Harappan seal is the signs on the top of the seal are a part of a script. Harappan seal एक ऐसा seal होता था that are on the part of a script. Now this is the earliest form of writing in the subcontinent. About Harappan seal. Seal पे लिखा होता था, उसको वो छापा मार देते थे. समझ गए? Wait. Now something is you want to write over here. So whatever is written on the seal, they will be putting it over here, and all those things will be inscribed over here. Fine. Now scholars have tried to read this signs, but we still do not know exactly what these signs mean. Whatever it was meant in the language, it was unable for us to find and think कि क्या है. Fine. Now let's start some thinking. Let's think together and come to a conclusion, students. Why are we not able to read alphabets that were written in the paintings? Maybe it was not legible to us. Maybe we don't have so much knowledge and idea about what those paintings meant. Okay, as we can see an image that is terracotta and that is named as toys, why it is not shown any symbol? Now these are known as toys. Can we read something what is written over there? We are finding its shapes. They are resembling shapes. Fine. So now these are terracotta made toys. Terracotta was a type of material. Why it is not shown as symbol? Think what could be the answer. Okay. Now let's move forward. There's a question for all of you. Terracotta was a symbol. Scribes were people who knew to write. Rulers used to keep records of all time, or language was Urdu. Which is the correct option according to you? So here we'll discuss all the options one by one to find out what is correct and which is fitting to the question. Now, terracotta was a way of symbol. Yes, terracotta was a way of symbol. Like this is example of terracotta, or this is example of terracotta. It is a material. So this answer is false. Scribes were people who knew how to write. Is this true or false? Scribes were not people. They were metals that people used to bring. So this statement is also false. Rulers used to keep records of all time. Yes, we read that rulers used to keep different people in distant places to bring precious metals and stones from that places by keeping records. So the statement is true. Now language was Urdu. Is it mentioned anywhere? No. So this answer is false. Fine. Now let's study more. There were men who were craft people making all types of things, either in their own homes or in the special workshop. Now there were people who were also involved in crafting processes. Now women used to cover their face and handle thousand household duties. Evidences that many terracotta toys have been found and children must have played with this. So whatever toys are found, they are acting as a evidence that okay, if this is found, then definitely children are playing with these. And that was made by either men who were involved in the crafting business or even by the women who were involved in this household duties. Now, travelers used to visit through trade exchange of raw material, cultures and stories. Now, how can we see the history of traveling? कैसे पता चलेगा कि traveler भी वहाँ पे आते थे? Now, if there is traveling going on, or if there is some suppose import export, now what happens in import and export? Exchange of raw materials is going on, so we can find out through historical answers. Now how can we find out that travelers were there or not? Through various accounts of various historians, we can find out that travelers used to visit and exchange raw materials because they were involved into trade exchange. Fine. Now, think that today whatever we are having in society, we are having trade, exchange, trade of goods and services. So similarly, that was also present in the time of historical era. Now, most of the things at that point of time was made up of stone and metal, because stone was such a thing that was present since time immemorial, and metal was also present since so many times. Yes or not, students? So these two things were made up of stone and metal, and these things were found in historical era. There was no mention of plastic. Plastic is invented recently. Yeah. So when we are talking about 1000 years before, so stone was there which was present throughout the time. Copper, bronze, gold and silver. We have numerous accounts that how kings used to have gold and silver things with them. Yes, used to make tools of weapon ornaments and vessels. The Harappan side also made pot with beautiful designs. Now pot that was used for storage of water, any other personal storage, that was also made with beautiful designs. They used to carve those designs from the pot, and they used weapon ornaments and tools to make such designs that were looking intricately beautiful. So this was about the culture, the society, the metals, the products that were used by the Harappan and Mesopotamia people. Fine. I hope this much is clear to all of you students. So we'll move forward. Okay, now you need to answer me. What copper, bronze and gold signify? In today's time, gold is the most expensive ornament. Gold is the most expensive metal. Platinum is there. Diamond is a stone and it is also the most expensive, but at that point of time copper and bronze, these days they are cheap, but in that point of time they were holding much more value, because जो भी चीजें बनती थी it was made from them only. Now tell me students, have you ever visited museum where ancient craft is available? Think and tell me. Yes, like museum में आप गए हो, you are seeing the tools and ornaments and all those things that are made by those people. No, you need to visit and see how beautiful the designs are, what tools are they using, what ornaments are they using for decorating it. Now like two boys and two girls are there in the field, only boys are allowed to work. So what is happening? Boys are hardworking and girls are doing different chores, different domestic and house help. So this was also the situation that was there in that point of time. So I hope the concept is clear to all of you. So we can see from this image that how beautiful the products are looking. This is stone and this is made up of different metals such as copper and bronze and silver. Yes, and this is also a different type of artwork and crafted by them. Now our next topic is about the most important metal or material that was found in the Harappan civilization. Now unlike stone or shell, fines is a material that was found. Unlike stone or shell, fines was found naturally. Fines is a material that is artificially produced. It is not produced naturally. It is made by artificial process. A gum was used to shape sand or powdered quartz in an object. The objects were then glazed, resulting in shiny glassy surface. The colors of the glaze were usually blue or sea green. So it had only two colors, either blue or sea green. Okay. Now the fines was used to make beads, bangles, earrings and tiny vessels. So this material which was produced artificially was having two types of colors, blue and sea green. It was having shiny glassy surface and the colors was this, and they were used to make what? Beads, bangles, earrings and tiny vessels. Now fines was made up of terracotta and they were used to spin the thread. Now these were the two objects that were used to spin the thread. Many of the things that were produced were probably the work of specialists. So normal people were not able to do such type of work. It was only completed and done by the specialist. A specialist is a person who is trained to do only one kind of work. For example, cutting stone, polishing the beads with different polishes and colors, or carving seals and making beautiful intricate designs for them. So which we can see at this illustration. Now this is the illustration. Is this the work which he is doing? Is it possible by everyone? No. So only a specialist who is having extra, you know, what can we say? Who is having extra training in one kind of duty is only able to do this. So such type of cutting and is done by only a specialist. So how well the face is carved and how carefully the beard is shown. So all these have been done by the expert craft people. Not everybody could have been a specialist. We do not know whether only men were specialists or women were specialists. So here we are trying to know that we do not know whatever the carving is done, only male people are doing or only female people are doing. Only what do we know is that this carving, the steel and the signs were made by specialist people. What was their gender? We are not aware of it. Perhaps some women and men may have been specialists. Then again they are saying, although it is unknown, but they are having speculation that they may have been specialists. Now before we proceed further, there's an activity time for all of you. Now let's match what have we studied till today, till now. Let's match and check what is the correct answer to according to all of you. Now grains was a raw material which used to find natural or produced by farmers. ये grain है. Or cotton, wood, herbs. What is the actual answer? Grain is the actual answer. Cotton. These are processed to produce finished goods. No. That is the wood. Okay, the raw materials that Harappan used were available locally. Many items such as copper, tin, gold, and pieces. In search of raw material present in Rajasthan and even from Oman and West Asia. Herbs, wood, bronze, copper, tin brought from Afghanistan. Gold was from present-day Karnataka, and precious was from present-day Gujarat. And there was also a place known as Lothal, where we can find such type of instruments. Fine. Now, let's talk something about food. We have already discussed about metals. We have discussed about cities. What was the interesting and unusual thing? Let's come and think that people, what did they eat? What did they had in order to survive? While many people lived in cities, others living in the countryside grew crops and they reared animals. These farmers and herders supplied food to craft persons, scribes and rulers in the cities. We know from remains of plants that Harappan grew wheat, barley, pulses, rice, sesame, linseed and mustard. So now we can find out that these people were growing such type of products. A new tool, the plough. Now the plough is such in shape. It is like such in shape that is used by the farmers to dig the earth for turning the soil, tilling the soil and planting the seeds. Now again a new tool was discovered that was known as plough. While real plough, which was probably made of wood, have not survived, toy models have been found. Now they have also found toy models. The archaeologists who have found, here we are speaking about archaeologist. Fine. Some form of irrigation may have been used. This means that water was stored and supplied to the fields when plants were growing. The Harappans reared cattle, sheep, goat, buffalo. So four type of animals were reared by the Harappans. First one was cattle, sheep, goat and buffalo. Water and pastures were available around the settlements. Settlement means wherever people were living, they were having houses, they were having some activities. Water were found over there, and pastures means green lands were also found in that part of the settlement. However, in the dry summer months, large herds of animals, matlab large jhund group of animals were probably taken to greater distances in search of grass and water. So this shows that what was the condition of Harappan people and people who lived within settlers in the time of summer season, right? They also collected many fruits. Now, what is transportation system and why transportation system is important? Now tell me, what does this image reflect to you? आपको इसको देख के क्या लग रहा है? It is some type of bullock cart. Yes, that is used for taking people from one place to another. Yes. So transportation system and transportation seal are two different things. Now why transportation seal is important? Why it is important? What is the importance of that? And how was it important for the raw materials? Now raw materials, whenever raw materials are coming, you must have some identity that this is a raw material, this is coming from one village, this is coming from other village. So similarly, transportation seal is also very important because it enables us to know, it enables us the people to know that this product is coming from which portion or which area. Now, let's have something else about transportation system, about housing and about other things. Let's have some other closer look about Harappan towns in Gujarat. Now, Gujarat we have discussed that there was a town in Gujarat that was named as Lothal. Yes. Let's discuss what do we know about this. So, the city of Dholavira, it was located on Khadir Bait in the run of Kutch, which is there in Gujarat, where there was fresh water and fertile soil. Now what is the characteristic of fertile soil? Whatever seeds you throw into the fertile soil, it will have good beautiful plants. Unlike some of the other Harappan cities, now that was divided into two parts. Dholavira was divided into three parts, and each part was surrounded by massive stone walls. entrance through gateways, and there was also large open area in the settlement. Okay? Now there was a massive walls. It was divided into three portions, and there were entrance was through massive gateways, and there was also large open area in the settlement. Public ceremonies could also be held over there. Other findings that were included by the archaeologists, they included letters of the Harappan script that were carved out of white stone and perhaps inlaid in wood. This is a unique find, as generally Harappan writing have been found on small objects such as seals, but they found out white stone and it was also mentioned in the wood. The city of Lothal stood beside a tributary of Sabarmati in Gujarat. Now tributary means tributary is a river where it is having its extra branches. Now suppose this is a river. This is the river flowing. Now what will be tributary? There is one extra branch which is flowing over here, one extra branch which is flowing over here. So these are known as tributaries. Fine, students? Now, the city of Lothal stood beside a tributary of Sabarmati river in Gujarat, which was close to the Gulf of Khambat. It was situated near areas where raw materials such as semi-precious stones were easily available. Now, this was an important center for making objects out of stone. How can a place be important? A place can be important only under those circumstances where abundance of products are found, too many stones are found, too many things are found which can be transformed into other items. And it was found, it was near the river tributary. So now we also know that क्या क्या चीजें हमें river के पास मिलती है. Shells, metals, sand, castles, everything is made. And there was also storehouse in the city. Many seals and sealings, the impression of seals on slave were found on this storehouse. So whatever there was something seal that was there, that was found in the storehouse. Yes, students, some things are clear to all of you. Now, this is the image that is showing up. We have just studied about Lothal Dockyard. So this is the image that is showing about Dockyard at Lothal that was near Gujarat. So, what can we find? This huge tank, now they are estimating, they are assuming, may have been a dockyard where boats and ships came in from the sea and through the river channel. हो सकता है, ये भी हो सकता है. Goods were probably loaded and unloaded over here. So they are talking about this area. And it also looks like, yes. Why? Because river, there is water on all the four sides and boats and ships must have been coming from this area. See how this is developed. See this area. So ships can also come from this area and the loading and unloading process can also take place. Now, I hope this much is clear to all of you. Now, today we have studied about Harappan civilization. We have recapitulated, we have studied about unique importance of those cities, how metals were found, how people were rearing cattle, how food was found, how there are dockyards. How can we know that, okay, what metals were used by the people, which was near the sea, which was far away from the sea. So you need to recapitulate today. So now students, do you support the statement? Yes or no? India is well known for its deep-rooted traditions in art and craft. Can you relate with the Harappan site? Is it yes or is it no? Please, I want all of you to answer in the comment in the chat box. It is yes or no. From my point of time, it is definitely yes. Yes. India is deeply rooted in traditions in art and craft. We can see still so many people are having their business of arting, crafting, selling handmade things. So where are they getting these ideas, these benefits? From the people, from the early people, from the historian people. So this was all about the traditions. So students, today we have completed the tradition, about something about area, how what is citadel, what is great bath, and we have also studied about precious stones, metals that were found, how people constructed their houses, what was the gateways. All these things were completed in today's topic. So let's move forward towards the homework part. Now homework for you is to visit a nearby museum. This is mandatory for all of you. You need to visit a museum, because without visiting a museum it is very unsure that you will be able to understand the importance of these concepts, because once you need to have the glimpse of these historical items, fine, or collect from the internet about more crafts that were used in Harappan civilization. Now, what were the craft things that were used in Harappan civilization? You need to mention and give its importance by giving examples for each. So now, see, such items were used. Yes, these are the seals. See, these are the seals, and these are the metal objects that were made. So you need to find about more such craft and you need to mention. So I hope the concept is clear to all of you students. It's my humble request that if you have any doubts related to any topic, please feel free to comment in the chat box and I'll get back to you shortly. So I hope that you liked and enjoyed watching the video, and my request to all of you is keep on studying and studying hard, and keep studying, playing, and take care of yourselves. Thank you and goodbye, and keep on liking, sharing, and subscribing for further informative videos. Thank you so much, students.